What's up, gamers? Well, obviously, since I just completed my GTA 5 review, I was being an asshole towards the other GTA games that were, well, pretty much pushed to the side and left over, and I felt as if they deserve a treatment, of course, and my honest thoughts as well. That is, of course, the GTA 4 expansion packs, which I can't believe I forgot about, and you're probably wondering what the hell is your thoughts on that one. And of course the PSP games as well. So let's get to it. First I'm going to get the GTA 4 expansion packs out of the way. The first one, of course, that came out was The Lost and Damned. He plays a character named Johnny. I didn't have much to say about this. I didn't know what to expect. It seemed pretty simple, pretty fun, but for the most part, you're mostly just playing as this biker guy, which definitely comes in handy, being that you're always riding a motorcycle, and it's required to do a mission. And the most parts of the missions don't really have much variety to them, depending on what you're expecting. But, I seem to have enjoyed it for what it was. It does add more soundtracks and, more music and stuff. Most of the time I usually listen to the rock and roll, and that's good, considering you're a biker. I mean, that is real biker music. But it's good, though, because you're less likely to fall off your motorcycle. I mean, Christ, you ever seen how Nico handles a motorcycle? Christ, you go over one little curb, one little bump, and he falls right off like like an idiot. But this time around, Johnny, well, he doesn't not fall off. It's just harder for him to fall off. And most of the time you're doing gang war missions and you're going into different sections, sections of Liberty City that you haven't been in before, which is actually, it opens a new door for the GTA 4 generation. But like I said, it adds more to it, more areas that you can unlock, more characters, but more soundtrack. But there's not much variety in comparison to the original GTA 4 expansion. The original game, The Ballad of Gay Tony. Yes, weird title, but still a superior expansion pack. Yeah, you play as another character. This time around, there's way more variety to it. Let me see, you got tanks, you got parachuting, you can jump off the Empire State Building, for Christ's sake. I know they obviously don't name it that in the game, but who the hell cares? That's what I call it. You can parachute onto freaking moving vehicles, you got golf. Hell, there's one mission where you help a guy steal a freaking train car off the tracks with a helicopter. I mean, there's much more to this game than you can ask for. Of course, they add more music as well. I wasn't too crazy about the music in this game in comparison to Lost and Damned. But who the hell cares? It's kick-ass fun. I would go for this one over Lost and Damned if you're looking for more variety of missions that doesn't get as repetitive as much. Because trust me, this one is well worth it. As much as the title sounds weird, it's still superior to Lost and Damned, in my opinion at least. Even though I enjoyed both, still, this one is better. Now, of course, for the portable console versions, the PSP. There was, of course, one for Nintendo DS, which eventually did get released for PSP, and that is Chinatown Wars. I'll get this one out of the way since this was my least favorite. Yeah, if you played, of course, the PSP games and you were blown away like I was initially, being that they were a step backward or more distant than the console versions, this one may disappoint you because it's a huge step backwards and it feels more like a tribute to the old school style of GTA from like the PlayStation 1. It's all overhead view, and hell, you don't even hear anybody talking. It's all just printed out words, text and stuff. And the missions are just boring as hell. I mean, where's the graphics? I would expect this kind of stuff on DS, sure, but PSP, you'd expect a lot better. I know this got high ratings on the internet and stuff, and some fans actually liked it. Me, I really didn't. So, save your tomatoes, don't throw them at me, refrain from negative comments, this is just my opinion. And that's all I gotta say about that one. It's primitive, but in my opinion, it degenerated the series to the maximum. But if you want improved portable console graphics, like stuff that you almost see as good as PS2 graphics on a handheld, then go for Liberty City's stories, to be exact. To me, it's a step forward over GTA 3, but not a huge step forward, considering it came out after San Andreas, so you can't expect a lot of that to be in there. First of all, there's no wall jumping, there's no swimming, You play as Tony Cipriano. There are a lot of good variety of missions. The graphics may not be as good, and getting used to the circle pad on the PSP can get tricky, and a lot of the buttons and everything, so it takes a lot of practice to get used to with the driving and everything, and doing drive-bys. It can be tricky. Cheat codes work, which is good. The soundtrack, it's what you'd expect, not much different than GTA 3. You know, it has the same radio stations, but it's unlike GTA 3, which had no motorcycles. You actually get them in this game, which is great in my opinion. But most of the missions are pretty short and pretty simple. There are a few tricky ones, being that some of the controls take getting used to, but overall it's a great game. But not as good as the next game, Vice City Stories. Now this one I knew was going to be good. This takes somewhat of a step forward over Vice City. Yeah, being that you can actually swim. But no, still not as good as San Andreas, because you can only stay in the water for a short period of time, then you die. You can't go underwater unless I take it back. You actually can stay in the water longer if you do lifeguard missions. You buy properties, or better yet, destroy properties from rival gangs, and then build up your empire. Sweet. But then you still gotta go back and defend them if, of course, rival gangs are trying to take them over. That's one of the newest features in the game. Then, of course, you got a new and improved soundtrack. Same stations, but different songs, like Liberty City Stories. Of course, this time around, it's a prequel to Vice City. Just like Liberty City Stories, I'm assuming, is a prequel to GTA 3. Yeah, the timeline is so screwed up with GTA, but hey, it makes sense at this point. And I was like, wait, how could you play as... Yeah, that's what you play as Vic Vance, and how is Lance Vance alive? I thought you killed him at the end of Vice City. Spoilers there. But yeah, of course you help him around a few times, and yeah, of course after playing Vice City, you can't help but wonder, why am I helping this guy? He's an asshole. But just do what you gotta do. It's still a pretty enjoyable game. Some of the controls on the vehicles, again, can be frustrating, especially the worst one has to be is that stupid hovercraft thing that you drive around. God, the controls are awkward on that thing. But the mission varieties are fun. I mean, Christ, you got the robot thing that helps you, of course, track down crack in a safe. I like that mission. The helicopter one was a little bit annoying with the magnet. You got the races, of course. You have to unlock different parts of the city. Of course, you got the annoying load screens as soon as you cross the bridge. But the game, in my opinion, is definitely well worth it. It's definitely a huge step forward. For one thing, the missions are longer and definitely more challenging. And I love how every time you beat a mission, it ends up on the news. Just like this just happened, and so on and so forth. But it's still a fun game. I definitely recommend this one if you're looking for more of a challenge, and especially Liberty City Stories too. But Chinatown Wars, let me tell you, after playing these games, it disappointed me to the maximum. Just my opinion. So, that's my overall opinions on the GTA games and leftovers. Till next time, happy gaming.
Get over.